हेलो माय डियर स्टूडेंट्स, मेरे छोटे छोटे प्यारे प्यारे बच्चों। आज मैं आप लोगों के लिए लेके आया हूँ वेरी कॉमन सिंपल टॉपिक. दिस इज वेरी important for us. We'll try to understand what is metal and non-metals, as well as we'll see what are the comparison between metals and non-metals based on the following properties. So let's start. What is metal? First we will know what is metal. Metal have tendency to lose electron from their outermost shell, and after losing they get positive charge. At the same time, non-metals have tendency to gain electrons, and after gaining electrons they carry negative charge. So see, in a simple statement you can say that metals lose electron and non-metal gain electrons. Here we are going to see the comparison between metals and non-metals with their exceptions. Let's see. The first is physical state. Physical state means what is its outlook. It is in solid state, liquid state or gaseous state. Let's see. Metals exist in solid state, but there are some exception. Exception means it is not following the rules. It is not following the trend. It means you can say that mercury, which symbol is Hg, which is not solid. It is existing liquid state. At the same time, you can see in the non-metal side, all non-metals exist in all the three states. You know the three states of matter: solid, liquid and gases. There are some exceptions. Bromine exists in liquid state. You have to remember generally non-metals exist in solid state or soft solid, or you can say in gaseous state, but only bromine can exist in liquid state. Now we'll go to the next property, that is luster. Luster means sign. You know that metals have some sign, like gold, its sign, platinum, its sign. So this is the property of metal. Metals have high lusters, means it is attractive. But exception, lead. Lead is not showing any sign, any attraction, means you can say that lead is dull looking. At the same time, you can see non-metals are non-lustrous, means they are dull appearance. You have seen the koala. Is it looking attractive? No, not at all. It is not attractive. But exception, there are some exception. Iodine and graphite, they are attractive. They are very shining in nature. Now we'll go to the next property, that is hardness. Hardness, you know that it is in solid. If you press, you apply force, is it compressible or not? That is called hardness. Now you come to the column metal. Metals are hard and strong except sodium and potassium. Sodium and potassium are metal, but they are soft. You can cut with knife. So they are the exception in metals. Now see the non-metals. Non-metals are soft. Example, sulfur and phosphorus. As well as exception, non-metal is hard also. You know the diamond. Diamond is the hardest material exist on earth. So question can come, which is the hardest matter or material exist? That is, answer will be diamond. We'll move to the next property, ductility. So we'll try to understand what is ductility. Ductility means if a matter or substance drawn into wires without breaking or without you can say change, or you can say without breaking into pieces. it can change into wires. That property is called ductility. Are the metal ductile? Yes, metals are ductile except zinc, mercury and gallium. They are non-ductile. At the same time, you see the non-metal are not ductile, means they can not be changed into wires. Exception, carbon fibers. Carbon fiber can change into wires. Now we'll go to the next properties, malleability. We'll try to understand what is malleability. Malleability means if a material can be turned into thin sheet without breaking, means it will not break, it will change into sheet. You can say like plates, thin plates, but it will not break. So that property is shown by metal. Metals are malleable except zinc and mercury. They can't change into thin sheet. Next, we'll see the column non-metal. Non-metals are non-malleable. There is no exception. We'll see the next property, density. You know the density. Density means mass per unit volume. You can say that mass per unit volume is called density. Metals have high density. They are strong because have high density. Exception, sodium and potassium have very low density. Next, see the column non-metal. It has very low density. Non-metals possesses very low density except diamond. Diamond is the strongest material, so means it has very high density. Now we'll see the next property, that is conduction of heat and electricity. You can do practical also, you can do activity. Some activity is explained in your book, you can do that. Or very simple activity you can do, take a small bulb, connect with the dry cell, and you can see that by using, you can take wires, copper, you can see that is circuit complete, and after completion of circuit, bulb is glowing or not. If yes, it is glowing, means that material, that is copper, and copper is a metal, because metal can have tendency to conduct electricity and heat. You can see that. You can do practical also. Take a aluminum or take any utensils, just to bring to one part or one portion to the burner of stove and try to touch this side. After a few minutes you can feel the this you have heated this portion, but you can feel that this portion is also heat, means the heat is transferable, because metals can conduct electricity as well as heat. But in the same case, if you have connected that battery and bulb with non-metals, bulb will not glow. It proves that non-metals are non-conductors except carbon and graphite. You know that graphite is it in a pencil, and it can conduct electricity. So don't try to touch the pencil or put it into the plug, and don't touch the other side of the pencil. It may affect, it may transfer electrons, or you can say that transfer electricity, and also you can feel some shocks. Now we'll come to the next point and the last point of the properties of the metals and non-metal, that is melting point and boiling point. You know that what is melting point and boiling point? At what temperature it melts and at what temperature it boils. Is metals having high melting point and boiling point? Yes, because metals have high density and they are hard. This is why they possesses high melting and boiling point, except there are exceptions which possesses very less or very low melting and boiling point. Examples of exception is sodium, potassium, mercury and gallium. They possesses low melting point and boiling point. Right? Now we'll see the last column of the top point, the last point, melting and boiling point inside of non-metal. You can see that non-metals possesses very low melting and boiling point. It means it can melt very soon as you supply very low temperature. It can melt or it can boil, except there are some exceptions in chemistry. There are many exceptions in all the cases. So here is also exception. Non-metals have low melting and boiling point, but carbon, boron and silicon have high melting and boiling point. So these are the properties of metals and non-metals with their exception, and that you have to learn. It's mostly have to focus on an exception. What are the exceptions which are not following the rules? And these are the examples that I have written. It may not be visible in a video because some examples has cut. So I'm dictating the examples of metals: sodium, potassium, zinc, iron, mercury. Mercury is here, Hg. Au is gold. Ag is silver. Pt is platinum. Ca calcium. Mg magnesium. Al aluminium. Sn tin. Hg mercury, copper, Cu. These are the metals, and there are many more metals that you will study in higher classes. Now you see the examples of non-metals: carbon, phosphorus, sulfur, iodine, oxygen, fluorine, chlorine, helium, neon, argon, hydrogen. These all are exceptions. These all are examples of non-metals, and many more are there in the book. So you must remember the exception, examples and comparison between metals and non-metals based on the following properties. So I'm going to conclude this class here. You must go through these all properties. Thank you.